Good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome back to the Daily Grind. I'm your host, Chump Change, just live recorded. We're talking about Bitcoin and the wick it had actually down to like 40,500 or so. It was like 40 and a half, right around there. And then we got Crypto Zombie that's going to be talking about the past week and all the BS nonsense FUD that's been going on in the Bitcoin space. So we'll get into that in just a second. What is going on, everybody in the chat? Mr. Nerd Beast, good to see you. Mike the Miner, Steven Cicero, Leo Lustig, good morning, buddy. Good morning. Start of another week. I am exhausted today. I don't know about you guys. We have Overboard Tech. Good to see you, buddy. All Set Miner. This is the first time I've taken a sip of coffee all day, and it's just as delicious as yesterday. Nerd Beast, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. We have Carl Coat. What's up, man? All right. Anybody else I may have missed? Mr. Matt Electron. Appreciate you, buddy. And Caveman Mining, as always. Appreciate you, buddy. Perfect. All right, let's get into this. See what we're looking like over here for the market today. We have 42,300 Bitcoin, dropped down from 44 or so over the weekend, but you know what, we had to have some sort of pullback. Can't go up forever. I mean, you wish it would, but it wouldn't. It would just be, it would make things bad, right? It would make things bad if it just continuously went up. Ethereum 2,248. Actually, you know what, interesting about that comment, kind of like that Karlsen we've seen, right? Skyrocketed to like, what was it, 25 cents or so, got close to 25 cents. The harder they go, the faster they go up, the harder they fall, or the faster they fall, right? So it's a double-edged sword. It's nice to see things go up, but it's also scary to see things go up that fast. All right, we have Dogecoin 9 cents over here. Kaspa is looking at 12 cents right now. We have Solana just under 70 bucks at $69. We have BCH at 235. We have Shiba's down 5%. Everything's pretty red today, actually. I mean, it's really not even bad though. Like, it's red, but in a good way, because everything's still up. So this isn't really disappointing to me, but let's check out, actually, no, let's check out on the week. Let's see what the biggest earner is on the week. BTT took the place the last 7 days, apparently. Looks like up 56 ranks to 55, up 176%. This is BitTorrent, if anybody doesn't know. I don't own this, but I don't know if you guys do. Shout out to anybody that does. This Bonk coin, is this the new so is this a meme coin on Solana? Is that what it is? I don't know anything about it, to be honest, but this is up 59 ranks to 87 in the top 100. It's 0.0000122 for the price. So I mean, you can still make a lot of money off meme coins, but yeah, I don't know about that one. We have Beam over here up 54.4%. Looks like it's at a penny, almost 2 pennies. Pretty nice. If anybody's into that, shout out to you guys. All right, on the day, everything is pretty, again, red on the day over here on Crypto Bubbles. This is the top 100. Same thing with Coin 360, but I guess it just looks a bit different here. Yeah, it's real. Injectives 22.6% on the day. We have SNX up 12.6%. We have IMX up 11.4%. Everything's pretty neutral though, overall, pretty neutral. So is what it is. Check out the Fear and Greed Index. We're looking at 74. Pretty greedy. Like I said, over 75 is really where I'm like, all right, time to consider my positions. Maybe might be time to sell, who knows. All right, let's check out the top 10 coins over on CoinMarketCap. Well, over on CoinGecko by CoinMarketCap rather. We have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, BNB, XRP, Solana, USDC, Lido Staked, Ether, Cardano, and Dogecoin. Let's scroll down a little bit and just see. We have Litecoin in 19th place. We have Bitcoin Cash in 21st. Shiba's in 17th. Wow, in 17th, it moved up. Kind of interesting. We have Ethereum Classic 27th, Monero 25th, and Kaspa's in 29th again at a $2.6 billion market cap. Not too bad. Could be worse, right? Could be worse. All right, let's get on to the mining segment of things. Let's see what we got over here on Mine the ASIC. Let me see what you guys are saying. If you guys have anything to say in the chat, please just at me, and I'll be able to see it way easier. All right, we got the Windminer K9 making $148 per day, and that's only with Kaspa at 12 cents. So the price appreciation of Kaspa will raise these prices, but they're getting worse and worse every day with the amount of hash rate coming on the network. And as Max Voltage always says,
this hash rate's going bonkers.
I truly just needed a sip of my coffee, so thank you, Max, for that. We have the KS3 Ice River over here making $113 a day. We have the KS3M making 82 bucks a day. We have the KS2 making 27.47. Man, that came down some significantly, actually. That's crazy. This was at like 50 bucks. Damn. The KS1 13.73. My KS0 Pro is coming in today. I don't even want to go look at it right now. This looks terrible. Max, you're the worst. Just saying. KS0 Pro, $2.77 a day. Damn. You know what? To me, it's about the yield. It's not so much about the price right now. But I will be getting these today, hopefully, as long as I don't miss the UPS guy. I have to sign for them. So I have 7 of these guys coming in today. It's either I do a quick flip and I sell them, or I just plug them all in. I'm probably just going to plug them all in and sell them in the bull run. That is my plan. That is my plan. 24 Kaspa a day. Again, if it appreciates, you know, whatever. If it goes to 50 cents, could get, you know, double what we're getting here. It doesn't matter, to be honest. It's just accumulate as much as you can. That's the biggest thing. The Ice River KS0, the original, $1.34 a day. Not too bad. Could be worse. Let's see the Jazz Miner X16Q. Let's see. Right here, jinglemining.com. If you guys are interested in this unit, we're making $6.85 a day mining ETH, F, and ZIL. ETH F, man, this thing keeps swapping between ETC, ETH F, and ETH W. I don't know. I don't know why anybody's into those ETH W coins or ETH F. I don't get it. Like, just let it stop forking Ethereum when it went away. It is what it is. Just leave it alone. I don't get it. Anyways, let's look at the Karlsen. Let's look at GPUs real quick. Because Karlsen was a big topic over the last couple days. Actually, you know what? Let's just go to CoinGecko quick. See what the price of Karlsen is. Is it KLS? Is that what it is? It is. All right, it's down to 11 cents. So the video I made on Saturday, that I dropped on Saturday, my opinion, was extremely good and made total sense. But now it's like, does it make so much sense to swap directly into Kaspa? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, the hash rate is still pretty good. You're still getting almost a 1-for-1 when you're coming to you know, mine unMineable or mine through unMineable with the Karlsen hash or right to Kaspa. But I think it contributed to the price coming down a little bit now that there is somewhere to automatically switch it versus just mining Karlsen. Let's see, what about Octaspace? Octaspace is actually it's been doing very well, or it has been for a while. So I don't know. And this ASICS coin right here, I don't know, or ASICS, I always butcher it. I don't know how to say it. This coin right here, I know my man Crypto KJ got a little on this one because he sold everything to buy a ETC MC node. Actually, we got to check out the price of that too. But this ASICS seems to be the top earner now, which is kind of crazy. Let's look this up. Actually, what's the price of that coin? I don't even know. ASICS, how do you spell it? ASICS, I don't know. It's under a penny. It's 0.008. It's up to 23.5% today. Show the 7-day real quick. Yeah, this thing's had a freaking crazy right there. There it is. There's the boner candle. Mr. Crypto KJ was very upset. He was very upset in the VIP chat. He was like, well, if anybody can find some rope, I could use it right now. Because I sold my whole bag to buy this ETC MC node. Let's see what that's at, actually, because that's probably going down too. But you know what? Everything's going down right now, guys. We're gonna have pullbacks. We're gonna have jumps forward. Is that? Oh, it's ETC POW. What am I doing? Duh. Wow. Total brain fart. Oh, it's under $2. Damn it. I'm supposed to get my payout today too. That's son of a bitch. That would happen. That would happen to me. It would. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. Are you using GPUs to get Kaspa though? You are using GPUs to get Kaspa though. Carl Co, yes, but you might not understand. So hold on. Let's do this, right? Real quick. Go to unMineable. All right. God, my eyes. How do we do this? It's so stupid they don't have a dark mode on the front page, and I didn't notice that until like I was already done recording my video the other day. So anyways, okay, using GPUs to mine Kaspa, yes, okay, but you're not can't even sign in. I'm not signed in. I'm not doing it right now, but anyways, I'm not mining Kaspa hash, right? It's not Kaspa's algorithm, okay? It's Karlsen hash. So mining Karlsen hash, as you can see right here, Karlsen hash, right? If you're using Karlsen hash to mine into a different coin, you're earning Karlsen, and they're selling Karlsen to give you Kaspa in return. So when it was 20 cents, I would get 1.5 Kaspa per Karlsen. Does that make sense? It's just it makes sense regardless of the hash rate. It doesn't look right? It doesn't seem right, but it is. It's 1000% right. You get 1 to 1.5, or you did, of Kaspa if you were using Karlsen hash to Kaspa, and that's why I was doing it for the whole entire weekend. It made sense. I was making a killing on it, so can't really complain there. So shout out to unMineable for being awesome and getting that up so quick. But yeah, let's see real quick. Let's just check. I want to see if my my A2000s. Oh god, look who's in the house.
It's a fucking goat.
There he is, Geek of all trades, my man. Good morning. Good morning. And that's a little British kid saying it's an effing goat, if you guys didn't understand. It's so funny. That short was hysterical. All right, we're looking at Karlsen. Looks like it's still making the most on my RTX A2000s I have in my house. We have right here 51 watts. Actually, mine are getting like 40, 44, 45 maybe. And yeah, it's not too bad though. It's not too bad, making more or less 43 cents a day. This is at 10 cents kilowatt hour though. Let's see, 35 cents to run this unit for the day, I guess. That's at 10 cents, but yeah, I don't know. Anyways, it's still pretty, it's the most profitable on the RTX A2000s, right? Mining Karlsen hash, regardless if you're mining directly and getting Karlsen or you're swapping it out for something else on unMineable. This ASICS coin, I see, I would love to mine this, but I can't. It's kapow. I can't run this thing. It's just, I don't know. It, like, yeah, cool, but you know what? I might have missed a boat on it anyways, so who knows? Post a link. Alexander Fleener. What do you post a link for? What? Sorry, I apologize. Let's see, Dan R, real quick. Do you hold on, do what I did with the Bobcat helium miners. I bought 3 Bobcats, sold 2, got my ROI back, and just ran the 3rd one because it's gray and we all love gray. Dan R, that's not a bad idea. I could do that with KS zeros. I thought about it. We'll see what happens. Anyways, what are you guys mining with? Is everybody still on this Karlsen stuff? It looks like Lithium's actually taking top of the charts for some of the coins as well. Lithium Nexus still here on the 4060. 4060, isn't that total shit when it comes to mining? Does anybody have these? Does anybody buy these for mining? I feel like the hash rate was really bad on them. I don't know why, I forget. I haven't done a video on those in a while. I don't have any of these actually, so I really don't know. Lithium Neoxa, gotcha. Nice. Novo, look at Novo still here for the 6900. This one actually has been on the top of the charts for the AMD for a while, which is kind of crazy. Interesting. Not mining KLS and not saying what I am mining. Nerd Beast, you know, secrets don't make friends. Just saying. All right, guys, let's get into the videos. Or there is not so much news today, so we're gonna do the whole video thing. Let's see what Satoshi Stacker has to say. This guy does some charting, so I want to watch like just a little bit of his video. We're not gonna get into the whole thing, so probably to here. It's like 4 minutes long or so. Let's see what he has to say about the wick that came down real quick, and then we'll go from there. That way I can enjoy my coffee a little bit. Let's do it.
So finally, the pullback we have been waiting for has happened for Bitcoin. And we saw a drop. Well, from the high here, we saw a drop of 10%. So this is fantastic. We saw this drop from the edge of the orange box. We went
again. It's a good thing to see pullbacks. You need that in the market.
Sideways, and then finally, in just a couple of minutes, let me show you this actually on the minute chart, because this was pretty wild. So let's go to the hourly. Let's go to the 1 minute. And you can see that this entire crash took place during just a few minutes as we lost this red line right here. Boom, in 2 minutes.
This was some whale trying to, like, let me see if I can push this down and I'll buy back in low. And then he hit all these buy orders. He's like, oh shit. He couldn't get back in. That's what happened.
We went down. This is a flash crash. So this flushed out most of the leverage in the market. In fact,
and that's a good point too. It does flush out a lot of the longs.
$266 million worth of longs were liquidated in the past hour alone.
That's crazy.
So this is the reason why I've been very, very cautious here recently. I've been saying that I am not going to buy more Bitcoin until we hit at least my orange box here, but also until we have a healthy correction towards the downside. Now 10%, that is a decent correction. Of course, we could say 15, we could say 20, 25 in a bull market. But now finally we have at least had some kind of correction, which I have been waiting for. Because honestly, as you know, once we started to go above this red line here, I thought that we would struggle more with this red line. So although I was very happy that we were seeing this pump up to $45,000, this is where I became very, very cautious, because for me, this was an overextension until we had a healthy correction towards the downside. So now that we've had it, let's talk about what's going on for Bitcoin and what I see happening next. Well, the first thing is that if you look at traditional markets, you can see that traditional markets are not doing too bad. Traditional markets are still doing pretty good. So this has nothing to do with traditional markets. This was not a flash crash in traditional markets that caused this for Bitcoin. This is a Bitcoin isolated event. It was just the correction we needed because people were starting to get greedy, and the market always punishes people the most. So the people that have been punished right now are the people that were not buying at $16,000. They were not buying the dip all the way up. Instead, when all of the YouTubers, all of the Twitter guys, they started to get extremely bullish right here. They said, yeah, we're going to $55,000, $60,000, new all-time high within a week. So the people that have been sitting on the sidelines, they jumped in. Of course, not you guys that have been watching my channel, but the other, people, they were spreading a lot of hopium. So people jumped in right here. Instead of buying the dip, they jumped in right here, and now they're getting punished. And they saw that pullback, and most likely they have already exited their position at the bottom here, at close to my orange, at the edge of my orange box. And from that point, we saw a big bounce, of course. But this is how the market punishes the most amount of people the hardest. If you don't have a strategy, if you're not prepared for these things, the market can be very, very brutal. So what do I see happening here? Well, nothing has fundamentally changed for Bitcoin. Just like I said, traditional markets are still doing pretty well, and nothing has changed fundamentally for Bitcoin. This is just a healthy correction. So in other words, where's the most likely scenario where we're going to find support for Bitcoin? Well, this 4-hourly candle right here is vital. If we can have a little bit of a rally here on the 4-hourly time frame and close this 4-hourly candle above this red line, that would be absolutely huge. If we cannot close above the red line here, if the bears push us down, well, then it's looking likely that we could see another test down at the edge of my orange box here. But remember, guys, this is an orange box, and you know how strong they can be. So you can see the big bounce we had here from not even the edge of the orange box, just getting closer to the edge of the orange box. We did have this bounce. So I'm still bullish on Bitcoin. In fact, as you know, I've been cautious and more or less short-term bearish here since we crossed this red line. But now that we've had this pullback, I am back into optimism mode. Yes, we could have some more pullbacks, especially down to the edge of this orange box. And maybe we could even come down to this orange box down at 30, 38 and 37.
I'm gonna be honest, I wouldn't see that out of the realm of possibilities. I would have thought it would came down to 38 like last week, but it's just been going nuts. So who knows?
This is really the maximum I think we are going to see for Bitcoin.
The biggest thing you guys got to think about it is December, right? So like typically around Christmas time, or like between like Black Friday and like the beginning of the year, people are either tax loss harvesting, or they're taking out money to go buy gifts, or whatever the case may be. People just need money for traveling. It's Bitcoin usually takes some sort of a little bit of a dip during these months. I mean, regardless of the bull or bear run, that's just how it is
in this specific time period. So that is the most likely scenario if we close below this red line. Now, why did we see the dip at this very moment? Well, if you watched my video yesterday, you know that I was talking about the total market cap chart here and how we were struggling with getting above that. And if we saw a rejection right here, we could see a decent rejection and pullback for Bitcoin. Yes, we did see this on the weekly time frame. We didn't manage to break through this level. Instead, we did see a pullback. Also, the total 3, which is the altcoins, essentially altcoins excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. Same thing here. Here it was a little bit interesting that we actually closed above this level, but then immediately saw a drop and a pullback to my orange line right here. So what does all of this mean?
All right, I'm gonna get out of that. That's enough charting for us. But you guys, I mean, you can tell it's like, again, we have ups and downs in crypto. It's one of those things where if it went up forever, that'd be ideal, but it can't. It physically can't just continuously go up forever, and it would the faster it goes up, the faster it falls. So is what it is. All right, Mr. Crypto Zombie, this video, at least the first half that I watched, was pretty good. So he gets into more or less the what we've been seeing the past couple weeks and couple days and whatever with Bitcoin and all this BS with all these Elizabeth Warren and Jamie Dimon, the guy over at JP Morgan. He plays that OG clip where it shows that Jamie Dimon said he was going to fire anybody that he caught purchasing Bitcoin, and then he's like in the background buying all the Bitcoin. It's totally messed up. But anyways, guys, that like button, appreciate you all. Let's get into this. Shout out to Crypto Zombie. Let's do it.
I've always been deeply opposed to crypto, Bitcoin, etc. You pointed out the only true use case for it is criminals, drug traffickers, anti-money laundering, tax avoidance. And that is a use case because it is somewhat anonymous, not fully, and because you can move money instantaneously, and because it doesn't go through, as you mentioned, all these systems have built up over many years, know your customer, sanctions, OFAC. They can bypass all of that. If I was the government, I'd close it down.
No.
This was kind of funny. It wasn't that funny, but it was pretty funny. That's pretty much what it's like.
What's going on, guys? K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day today. Now, having a look at Bitcoin, we haven't really done too much after having this massive move. Although,
yeah, that's messed up. That was the same guy at the beginning, Jamie Dimon, that dude right there saying that Bitcoin is like a fraud and used for like criminal activities. He's the one that told everybody, dude, fire them. And then he goes and buys it. You'll see that clip shortly.
Quite a massive move, basically from $25,000 all the way up to $44,500. Currently, we're consolidating within the range of around 42 to 44. You can see we're still sort of just going sideways, but there has obviously been a lot of crypto FUD that has come out this week. If you've been paying any attention, you see Jamie Dimon coming out saying that, we should ban crypto, Elizabeth Warren calling it one of the biggest modern threats ever, and it seems quite convenient that all of a sudden everybody has all of these opinions conveniently as Bitcoin is yet again outperforming virtually every other asset currently. Now, obviously, this is a threat to these type of people. We'll go into why in this video, but there is also something that we need to discuss, something that, really a lot of people are not talking about, some very surprising data. And, the unfortunate thing is that when you do have these traditional type of people who speak out, like for example Jamie Dimon, I'll tell you something that happened really quick before we start the video. My dad, he's actually down here on vacation. He's visiting us in Florida, and one of his friends called him up on the phone and said, hey, is your son still doing that Bitcoin and crypto thing? He might want to reassess his situation of his allocation to Bitcoin because, with everything that's going on, things could get really crazy. What happens if what hits the fan? And it's funny how as soon as these traditional type of people start speaking out, the fear hits, right? But what I want to talk about today is why we shouldn't actually be fooled and why they may actually be trying to, and I'm going to put this in quotes, kill crypto, because the question is, do they really want to kill crypto? There's a lot I want to talk about today. In fact, just on the Bitcoin chart alone, there's something that Bitcoin has not done in 5 years, except the last time that this happened for Bitcoin, things were very, very different, and the implications this time could be absolutely incredible. So that's
real quick, Mr. Kaiser in the chat. Good morning and happy birthday if today is your birthday.
Pretty much what I want to talk about today, guys. Oh, and also one other thing I wanted to talk about was, the big BlackRock secret that no one's really discussing. So if all that sounds good to you today, you know what to do. If you're not subscribed, we're going to cover a lot of stuff that's been happening over this week. And before I dive into it, I also just wanted to point out that currently in this range that we're at, we did have a meta signals
I'm gonna skip this. He's like kind of shilling this like long thing, but Crypto Zombie is awesome. Full link in the description if you guys are interested in going and check him out.
Us right now was what had seriously gone on with this sort of meeting where Jamie Dimon came out, and if you didn't see it, I'm just going to replay the clip. This is what he had to say.
I've always been deeply opposed to crypto, Bitcoin, etc. You pointed out the only true use case for it is criminals, drug traffickers, anti-money laundering, tax avoidance, and that is a use case. Because it is somewhat anonymous.
Look at the guy's face next to him. He's like, what the f are you saying right now?
Fully, and because you can
He's like, shit, I gotta sell all my Bitcoin as soon as I leave this room.
Money instantaneously, and because it doesn't go through, as you mentioned, all these systems have built up over many years, know your customer, sanctions, OFAC, they can bypass all of that. If I was the government, I'd close it down.
Okay.
That's so funny. I honestly didn't notice that guy's face until right then.
Now, Luke Martin actually points out some context. The video hits a little bit different when you learn that JP Morgan was the banking partner for Jeffrey Epstein's operation, largest trafficking case in history, source of funds a mystery, client for 15 years. But I thought Bitcoin was the problem, right? And of course, you have Elizabeth Warren coming out and chiming in with her 2 cents.
There's
Oh,
a
she
new threat
sucks.
out there. It's crypto, and it is being used for terrorist financing. It is being used for drug trafficking. North Korea is using it to pay for about half of its nuclear weapons program. We can't allow that to continue.
Now,
Listen how sincere she tries to say everything. It's so funny.
Got to throw it out
Such
there.
bullshit.
Does anybody actually have any evidence that that's what they're doing with their money? I mean, she says that, but do we have proof? I mean, everything's transparent on the
great
blockchain,
point.
right? Or are we really just grabbing and reaching for anything that's going to create some kind of sensational FUD around Bitcoin? Now, of course, there could be the conspiracy that they just want to buy cheap and they feel like they've missed out, right? There is that old saying, you know, when the retail misses the boat, they miss the boat. But when the institutions miss the boat, they bring the boat back. But the question is, are they going to be able to do it this time? And also, speaking just real quick on the topic of, you know, issues with banks versus Bitcoin, here's a couple headlines just for fun, guys. JP Morgan settles Jeffrey Epstein lawsuit with U.S. Virgin Islands for $75 million.
Oh, if you guys didn't know, this is Jamie Dimon's company, the guy that just said Bitcoin is a fraud.
JP Morgan hit with $200 million in fines for letting employees use WhatsApp to evade regulators' reach.
What the
JP Morgan grossly negligent over $875 million in Nigerian bank transfers, UK court is told. JP Morgan Chase and Company agrees to pay $920 million in connection with schemes to defraud precious metals and U.S. Treasuries markets. Oh wait, but I forgot,
That's messed
guys.
up. I must have skipped that part of the video because I didn't see any of that.
Bitcoin is the problem,
That's
right? Bitcoin, which provides self-custody, you know, sovereignty. Yes, it is
messed up.
borderless. Yes, it is actually outside of the reach of these people. And, you know, that's the thing. China tried to ban it. Maybe they did. What happened? Well, I don't know if you remember the China FUD. We had Bitcoin fall 50%, and then a few months later, it completely regained all of his losses. I mean, look what happened with FTX. We went all the way down to 15,000, and yet Bitcoin still was able to cross above $44,000, right? I mean, you know, yeah, it's just crazy because when you look at really what these guys are talking about, you know,
I really wish you could see like how much Bitcoin he owned. Because I'm sure he has a shit ton of it.
JP Morgan and Jamie Dimon calling Bitcoin a fraud one day, and then all of a sudden the next day, this came out. JP Morgan could launch a spot Bitcoin ETF per co-founder of ETF Institutional Nate Geraci. So
is that
again,
real?
Don't listen to what these people say. If I had, and I'm just, this is speaking from experience.
Like, how is that not illegal? How is that not illegal to sit there and shit on something on national TV, and then you claim you might shoot off ETF? What? Like, what?
If I had listened to the FUD all these years, starting on my journey over 7 years ago, if I had listened to the people that told me that Bitcoin was rat poison squared, or that it was fool's gold, or that it was a Ponzi, or that it was only used by criminals back when, you know, I started buying at around $2,000, you know, God bless the people that bought earlier than that, you know, where would I be today, right? So,
real quick, someone in the chat just said, I wonder how much BTC Warren has, as in Warren Buffett. Honestly, I believe that he doesn't have any. I don't think he has any. He has enough money. He doesn't give a shit about it, to be honest. And he's a smart stock trader. So, yeah, I don't think he would have any. But this Jamie Dimon guy, there's proof that he was buying. So you'll see in a second.
So it's kind of hard sometimes to ignore all of this, you know, that is coming out. But you know, where have we had a situation like this before, where Jamie Dimon says one thing and then does something different? Oh, I remember the great FUD high, buy low. Now, if you're new to crypto, you may not have seen this video. OGs, you've seen this one. But if you're new, I'll play the clip.
This is beyond messed up. I think you can find it like this if you type in the great cryptocurrency conspiracy.
Crypto, yes. I know personally, people that would have gotten in or stayed in if these people weren't saying what they're saying.
Right. And so this has really been extremely egregious. So on September 12th, Jamie Dimon says Bitcoin is a fraud. He says he'll fire any one of his traders buying Bitcoin. Bitcoin drops 24%. When Jamie Dimon speaks, people listen. So that weekend, we found out that the largest buyer of a Bitcoin fund that's in Europe that buys physical Bitcoin, right? The largest buyer was Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan. And that's not illegal.
What?
He says it's a fraud.
It says he'd fire anyone that buys it. Yes.
And at the same time, his company is buying it.
His company is buying it.
So it's just, so unethical.
Right.
So if this is what Jamie Dimon
Tell me that ain't messed up. Tell me that is not messed up. Yeah, that guy's a shitbag.
Was doing all those years ago. Do you really believe what he's saying now? We know that it's really more of a threat to the traditional institutions, right? When there's fees on Ethereum, or when you're sending stable coins, or if I send Bitcoin to you or you send Bitcoin to me, there is no middleman. The banks don't like that. They don't get their cuts. They don't get to do the overdraft fees if there's, not enough in the account. Banks make their money by taking your money and lending it out to others, which is hilarious, because the thing that, all these regulators are pissed that these exchanges and their funds and you can't commingle and this and that. Well, what are they doing with our money? Oh, but it's okay when they print the money, but if we do it, it's counterfeiting. It's okay.
Yeah, exactly like Mr. Geek of all trades says. He says, "Do as I say, not as I do." Yeah, that's a typical thing he just did there.
Okay,
Crazy.
when they, do fractional reserve banking, but if you don't have the reserves on your crypto exchange, well, then you're the criminal, right? And it was interesting because Vivek Ramaswamy was actually asked about this, and he had something to say.
Mr. Ramaswamy, you've praised cryptocurrency like Bitcoin as an opt-out from our, quote, broken financial architecture, and you oppose efforts to regulate it. The head of the largest international crypto exchange just pleaded guilty to allowing his platform to launder money for terrorists, including Hamas. You say your crypto...
That sounded like Geek of all trades laughed. That not sound like him laughing right there? Did you guys hear that?
Including Hamas. You say your cryptocurrency plan will, quote, ensure economic freedom for Americans, end quote. Won't it also ensure economic freedom for fraudsters, criminals, and terrorists?
Look, fraudsters, criminals, and terrorists have been defrauding people for a long time. Our regulations need to catch up with the current moment. The fact that SBF was able to do what he did at FTX shows that whatever they have as the current framework isn't working. And I think it is nothing short of embarrassing that Gary Gensler, the current leader of the SEC, in front of Congress, could not even say whether Ethereum counted as a regulated security or not. And so I think that this is just another example of the administrative state gone too far. Here's the dirty little secret in American politics today. The people who we elect to run
this guy's like, oh shit, he's going off the rails right now.
The government are not the ones who are even actually running the government. It is the bureaucrats in those three-letter agencies.
So again, I've said this time and time again, it's not the tool, it's the person who uses it to outright say, oh, we're going to ban crypto. Oh, right, because, the war on drugs didn't bring more drugs. The war on terror didn't bring more terror. The war on Bitcoin is probably only going to make more people want to run and turn to Bitcoin. More on that in a bit. But as you can see, the SEC jumping out here 31 minutes ago at the time of making this video, posting this: investor alert, exercise caution with crypto asset securities. Even though they don't want to actually tell us what is and isn't a security, like literally Gary Gensler couldn't say if Ethereum was or was not. Apparently, we're just supposed to guess it. But what's so interesting about crypto adoption is if you actually look at the data, it can be hard to get out of that Western sort of mentality. But if you just have a look right here, look at this right here, guys. Cryptocurrency is currently legal in 119 countries and 4 British overseas territories.
Oh, wow.
This means that more than half
That's actually a really cool little chart there. I never seen that. That's kind of cool. Has anybody else seen this? That's neat. Real quick, Jason Hamilton said they get their cut when you pay your taxes. 6% goes directly to the Fed for direct payment to the owners of the Fed. Interesting.
Of the world's countries have already legalized cryptocurrency.
Man, that's crazy.
64.7% of the countries that have legalized crypto are emerging and developing countries from Asia and African continents. So these people are turning to crypto out of desperation, out of a better source, out of opting out of the traditional system, because the traditional system does not have your interest in mind, right?
You know what's crazy, actually, looking at that chart? Sorry, I had to scroll back a little bit, but like, isn't this where all our ASICs come from? China. Am I wrong? Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? That's where they all come from, yet it's illegal in China. It's just strange. It's strange to me. Something's going on.
Cryptocurrency, about 20 have imposed bank bans. That's around 16.8%. You can see them actually in the restricted areas right here. And, these obviously don't allow...
Yeah, I know that's where they all come from, but just saying. Listen, all right?
Institutions to interact with cryptocurrency exchange or users. But I don't want to say too much right now, but there is a very, very large project that, and this isn't like a token or anything, and these guys are on the brink of solving this, and I can't really say too much right now. But when this does come out, there's going to be virtually no way that they can tell you what you can or can't do with your crypto. I will tell you more about that as it unfolds. It's probably going to be one of the biggest game changers when it comes to crypto and banking. But
what's he talking about? Does anybody know? Does anybody have the inside scoop? What's he talking about right there? What's he talking about? We need to know.
You know, again, they want you to stay within the traditional system. They don't want you to opt out of it. They want their fees, they want their control, they want their surveillance. And, you know, of course, they're going to use all these different tactics to, you know, create this fear mongering around crypto. But I mean, how well did it really work? You know, Bitcoin has surged 166% since the European Central Bank said that it was on the road to irrelevance. So right back here, November 30th of 2022, you know, Bitcoin's last stand. Yeah, Bitcoin's last stand. It's literally up 160 and maybe even more percent at you know, at the time that you may be watching this. But yeah, Bitcoin is the thing you should stay away from, right? That's the bad thing. We should probably just put all of our money in treasuries, which can't even outpace inflation. I mean, I don't even know the numbers today. What are you getting? 4% on a 2-year? Is that what it is? I don't know. What is inflation? Let's say they even get it down to 3%. Well, if it's 3% year over year, right? And then you have 4% every 2 years, you're still not outpacing inflation. So, I mean, I guess it's a hedge, I suppose, but like, is that really where you want to put your money and watch it just completely, you know, wash away to hyperinflation? No, a lot of people are waking up to that. In fact, I think Gary Cardone, you may know him, he's Grant Cardone's brother. He actually put it really simply. I really like this. This is something I would say, but let's let Gary have the floor for a little bit.
Somebody asked me the question, how the heck has Bitcoin been able to withstand so many attacks? I mean, let's try to go through some of them just off the top of my head. The last 18 months, Terra Luna, Celsius, Galaxy, oh yeah, our buddy FTX. People had the ability to change the planet and they blew it because they got greedy, started cutting corners. We have senators and congressmen that are 1,000 years old that want to live in the past. They don't want to move into the future. It's scary for them. We've had Warren, what's her name? The Senator Warren, part Indian, part white. I don't even know what she is, but she'll be whatever she needs to be. She's trying to kill Bitcoin. You know, and where are we at? We're at $42,000. And it seems to me like there is more demand than there is supply. People are catching on to this. We're hearing rumors now that you have large money from the UAE moving into this market. It was only a matter of time. Whether it's true or not, it is coming, okay? And these people are going to deploy $50 million wedges. They are not going to deploy 500 grand, 50 grand. You got to remember, this market has really been led by retailers, and every industry is built in this manner.
So the reality is, if the US wants to do some crazy stuff, if they really do want to ban it, could that create some FUD? Could that affect the price? Absolutely. It definitely would. But we already know that they've come out and said that they're not going to outright ban it. It's been supported by so many different politicians. And of course, I'm not saying you should trust really any politician, really. What are their real motives, But again, it all comes down to adoption curve. Like Jurian Timmer points out, we have all these things, motor vehicles, telephones, radios, televisions, VCRs, right? They all follow this sort of S-curve adoption. And that's exactly where Bitcoin is right now. And don't forget, a lot of these things, these other guys did not like, right?
Like these things were scary. These things were scary when they first came out. And that's just a fact. Like, I'm sure they didn't like when the motor vehicles came out, right? Or just in general, like it was just so new. It's kind of like the internet, right? When the internet first came out, it was like, what is this thing? And then now all of a sudden, like, we can't live without our phones. Like, it's just how it is. It's weird.
Option. And that's exactly where Bitcoin is right now. And don't forget, a lot of these things, these other guys did not like, right? Because it is something that threatens the existing system, right? Banks don't like Bitcoin. Why don't banks like Bitcoin? Because Bitcoin threatens the system. How come the horse and buggies, didn't like the cars? Remember the FUD? I don't know if you read about when the motor vehicle first came out. They were like, it's so unsafe. It needs 3 operators. It needs someone to drive, someone to handle the mechanics. And then they wanted a guy to walk in front with a flag. It was ridiculous.
What? Is that real? Does anyone know if that's legit? They wanted somebody to walk in front of the motor vehicle with a flag just for safety.
That's right. The telephone, electricity, right? Electricity, it's going to kill you. It's going to shock you, right? All these different things that were coming out. Blockbuster hated Netflix, right? Taxis hate Uber. right? But where did that go today, right? We all know that you either got to get with it or you're going to get lost in the dust, brother, right? I mean, you know, even over here, you had Brian Kelly on CNBC and, you know, talking about Bitcoin being more scarce than gold. And this is why so many people are turning to it, because it is the hardest and soundest money the world has ever seen.
Question about the halving. I've heard it called the halvening or the halving, but either one. We're getting to that in April, I think, right?
Come on, ladies, say it right. How do you guys say it? Tell me in the chat how you guys say halving. There's no F. No V. Oh, there's a V. I lied. Halving.
And that's been a bullish thing before. I sort of wonder, isn't it the same thing, though? Is that already...
Everybody stretches that word out, and they add like N, ing, all the way, like, yeah. Just give me a bunch of ENs. Just add a bunch of ENs in there, please, for me.
Getting priced in, or is there something technical that actually happens that would make it be priced in closer to the event?
So so what we've seen historically is that the 12 to 16 months after a halvening is the best.
Oh God, he says it like
Bitcoin.
that.
So that's what everybody's thinking about. This time, this time might be different because the price of Bitcoin's higher. We now only have, I think it's 900 Bitcoin a day that come out, so that gets cut in half. It's not a lot of Bitcoin, but what it does do is it makes Bitcoin more scarce than gold. So for the first time in history, you have an asset that is more scarce than gold.
In what way more scarce?
Let's call it a stock to flow ratio. So the amount of Bitcoin mined every year divided by the amount outstanding, same with gold. And now there'll be, quote unquote, less Bitcoin than gold mined on a relative basis.
And I think we could see it pretty much reflected in those who truly understand. You have strategy, Michael Saylor, just buying and buying and buying, right? You have Bitcoin legal tender currently in 2 countries. Who knows? Maybe it'll get added to Argentina at some point. It's not official yet. Michael Saylor posted this. He said, how high would Bitcoin need to rise before you would consider selling? You have 31% saying 100,000, 18,250, 14,500, and a whopping 36.3% saying $1 million to never. Now that sounds pretty crazy. I'm never going to sell my Bitcoin, but maybe it gets to the point where it is so bad that why would you even want to actually turn your money into your Bitcoin into dollars anyway, right? And here's the interesting thing.
I mean, that's a good point, right? But at the same time, you guys gotta, man, like I want to hold Bitcoin forever, right? But at the same time, I have a goal. I came into this with a goal to pay off my house, right? I'm gonna accumulate as much crypto as I need. And as soon as I get to that point, it's gone. I'm selling it all. And I'll start over. I don't care. Like, this is not, I mean, yes, it could be cool for, like, have a little bag for retirement somewhere, but the majority of it is getting sold to accomplish my goals and then start over. So you always got to have some sort of, like, end goal. Don't just, like, be a moon boy forever,
Thing about BlackRock, like Seth had pointed out, BlackRock had launched a private Bitcoin trust back in August of 2022. They have been accumulating Bitcoin in the absolute lows with the best algorithm that was created on Earth. But don't worry, there's always room for more Bitcoin. Have you ever heard a wealthy billionaire say, nope, I've had enough, I've made enough money, that's it, enough is enough? Don't worry, it will never be enough. There aren't enough Bitcoin for everybody, especially the wealthy. And we know that right.
And that's true too. Like, there's only 21 million ever in the world, and there's probably 5 to 7 million lost forever from people back in the day that just misplaced hard drives, wallets, you name it, it's gone, right? So roughly say there's probably 17 million around ish, right? 16 million ish around, and this is physically not enough for everybody to own one BTC. So yeah, it's probably a shitty move to sell it at some point, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, you got to accomplish your goals too,
Right now, there's only about, I think it's 2 million Bitcoin available on the exchanges. And we know that if the UAE rumor is true, if all these guys want to come in with these billions of dollars, where are they going to get their Bitcoin from? Right now, obviously, we have situations, for example, CryptoCon saying
BlackRock, obviously, that's where they're going to get it from because they trust BlackRock, which I wouldn't, but that's on them.
Money is pouring into Bitcoin at rates not seen since the last cycle top, and only 5 other times in Bitcoin's history things are getting heated. Now, someone had actually pointed out to me that AliCharts said that around 20,000 Bitcoin have been sent to known crypto exchange wallets in the past 5 days, worth over $880 million. So we've had $880 million in Bitcoin being sent to exchanges. Now, normally, I would say this is maybe a little bit of caution. And, we'll get to the charts in a bit, why we might be getting to some of these areas. But yes, obviously, when you're depositing your Bitcoin on exchanges, it usually means maybe you're fearful or you're looking to take profits. Hey,
real quick, someone in the chat actually just said, literally, his name literally is someone in the chat. That's hysterical. He said, there's no pockets in the casket. Use your money while you're still here. And that's a good point. That's definitely a good thing to live by. Yeah, obviously you want to have generational wealth, right, with your kids and stuff, leaving them something. But at the end of the day, like, you gotta accomplish your goals while you're still here, right? Yes, put some aside for them, maybe make a separate wallet for them, but at the end of the day, you still gotta, you gotta use it. You can't take it with you. Can't take it with you.
Maybe this Jamie Dimon, Elizabeth Warren news is freaking out some of the older investors. Maybe they're looking to sell. Who knows? But again, if we switch over to the bigger picture here, this is what I'm talking about. You could see right over here that Bitcoin is at its lowest levels that we have not seen since way back here at the very, very end of basically 2018. So in 5 years, we have not seen Bitcoin this low on exchanges. But the difference this time is that not only is the price much higher, not only is there clearly more demand, we have the SEC, potentially approving this Bitcoin ETF at some point. We know all this money's coming in. We have these rumors from the UAE, yet we have the same amount that we had 5 years ago when nobody was paying attention. This is where you get these supply shock squeezes. This is where you get these gamma squeezes like we talked about, where price could theoretically just go parabolic, right? And at some point, it's not going to matter what goes on in the US. Yes, the US has a lot of influence, I'm not going to lie. But at some point, it's not going to matter. It's already starting to not matter to a lot of these different guys, right? So that is just something we need to pay attention to. And the ETF is just continuing. You have Van Eck submitting their update. This is their 5th time that they've done it. They're actually having talks with the SEC. They actually have their tickle. They have their tickle hodl. No, their ticker hodl, which is obviously, we know why they picked that, and you're also seeing, for example, over here, Fidelity Spot ETF has officially been listed on the DTCC under the ticker FBTC, as well as the fact that we've also clearly had, Cathie Wood coming out saying that for the longest time, they basically couldn't even get in contact with the SEC, and now they're actually having talks with them, and the SEC chose not to appeal in their case. So they're losing ground. They don't have any more reason to ban it. So what are they doing? They're just creating FUD. They're picking from anywhere. Oh, these guys are using it to fund this. And yeah, they're building missiles. It's like...
That's literally all they've been doing is picking out of the air just to make it look bad to everybody else so they can either accumulate themselves or get their plans together with these big financial institutions to collect all of the money in the background, kind of like BlackRock working with Coinbase. And I mean, let's be real, BlackRock controls pretty much everything, right, in the US, like when it comes to financial institutions. It makes sense, right, for the government to kind of push it back as far as they can so BlackRock can accumulate as much as they can, and then they can regulate BlackRock. It's a big freaking F off circle. Like it's ridiculous.
Do you even have any proof of that? And literally, let's just be real, Bitcoin's only existed for 15 years. What do you think everyone's been using for the rest of history? Dollars, guys? So is Bitcoin really the problem? No, I would say not. So with that being said, I do want to just hop in super quick, have a look at the charts, guys, because we, realistically, I did say that once we get out of this blue,
as you guys know, we're kind of out of this now, but I guess we can hear what he has to say.
Zone area, we are in a little bit short-term overheated. I mean, we've literally been, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
We had to pull back to like here or so, if I'm not mistaken, like halfway.
So basically, in a nutshell, for 2 straight months, Bitcoin has been moving to the upside. Now, I actually personally still believe that some of these higher targets are possible. If you look at the volume range, it does kind of show us around 47,400. We have some other interest. And, not to just point out the confluence here, but we have the very, very, very reliable 0.618, which is literally at around $48,700, $800. And historically, Bitcoin really does try to push up to that level once we get past the 0.5. So will we make it to that level? Obviously, I don't know. Statistics and probability say that we probably will get to that level. Again, which is quite interesting because these targets are quite reasonable right here, up around 45,600 that MetaSignals was actually pointing out. But again, yeah, could we get up to around that, 0.618, 48? Yeah. And, just to kind of point out how crazy it could be.
Like, look at all those green candles in a row. Like, if you guys didn't expect some sort of pullback, then obviously that's kind of on you guys. But I mean, you physically can't just continuously go up. Like, even, you know, once it goes up a little bit, you're gonna have some sort of wick down, right? Even on a bull run. Like, it happens.
At current levels, if Bitcoin was to fall down to this parabolic bottom, let's just say tomorrow or next week we have this just dump down to the bottom, that would be about a 27% fall for Bitcoin, only to retest on the parabolic trend at around $31,900.
That's actually not that bad, but I mean, we had a 10% pullback, right? So half of that, roughly, again, like I said, right about, what was it? It was 40,000, like 200 or something,
which would be incredibly still bullish, and it would be an amazing opportunity to reaccumulate and, you know, potentially put in some more of those longs. There was obviously the situation that we do have a CME futures gap.
There it is, CME futures gap. So it went down, so it filled probably half of it, right? Because that's going down to 39,645, so it went down to 42-ish.
At around 39,600.
We'll probably see more downside,
which is telling me, you know, maybe in the short term, you know, we could potentially have, you know, that retracement. That is something I'd be careful about. But all the long-term charts, the super guppy.
This chart's sick, actually. The super guppy, when it flips green, it usually stays green for a while.
RSI, the MACD, everything is showing us that we are entering into the next paradigm of the cycle. Now, generally before the halving, we don't usually have these, you know, insane blow-off tops. But again, you know, we do have to pay attention to that, because if we look at these, and I know some of these names are silly, the super guppy, the magic bands. I don't know who names these things, right? But, you know, if we have a look at the magic bands, they've been very accurate. And regardless of whether or not that you think Bitcoin...
Sometimes I think charters just make shit up, to be honest, but... that's just me.
Essentially needs to have this pullback or not. Generally speaking, unless you're in a bear market or you're having some kind of a, you know, black swan event like we did with COVID, you know, once you sort of test this mid band and you get above it, you know, eventually it tends to act as that support, right? You could see it was resistance, and then here it became support, and that's where we took off. Well, you know, if I zoom in right here, what are we seeing? Resistance, a little bit of resistance, and then boom, we broke above it. So this blue area right here, 48,187, that does basically coincide with the 0.618. It also coincides with our major move of the falling wedge. So yeah, again, is it possible to get to around 47 to 48? I do. You know, after that point, I would potentially look for a cool off. But, you know, again, looking at the green Gaussian, looking at the potential of breaking these downtrends and forming these the wedges, I would say that, you know, even if we were to go to the top of that, that's around 49,000. Bitcoin does have a history of sort of going farther and harder than you think it's going to. So, you know, again, I would be shocked if this really does continue as a parabolic rally.
Well, I want to show something right here. So, like, looking at this, see that green, right? Flips green. If you look at this, right, these charts here, they go up, right? It still has a chance to go all the way down. Like, look at this one, right through the green. It's all these indicators, you got to take them with a grain of salt. None of them are 100% legit, but when candles get way far away from these indicators, right, they typically act like a magnet and they come back down to them in some form or fashion, right? Like this, yes, this could curve up and they could meet somewhere in the middle, right? But typically it's like a magnet. It sucks it all the way back down. Every time it comes out of it, it comes right back to it. So just keep that in mind.
But I also would be shocked if Bitcoin really traded much lower than 30,000.
I mean, it goes the opposite too. Like if it goes way low, it usually magnets back into it somehow.
Cool off period. The lowest I could say would be 25, because 25, you know, essentially, just to kind of draw this live for you guys right here.
That literally goes for like any type of indicator, not just this one alone. Like the EMA ribbons, if you look at the moon, the guy Karl or whatever from the moon, he does the same thing. The EMA ribbons, typically it just acts like a magnet, and they go back to it somehow in some form or fashion.
25, as you guys could see, would be this Terra Luna crash, this resistance, the resistance flip support, and then the resistance flip support again. Now, these are 4 points of contact. So for me, that would be enough. And again, if we did do that, we would fall out of this wedge. So I think it's unlikely.
If we do that, I'm buying another Bitcoin for sure.
That you see Bitcoin go to 25,000. I think, believe it or not, a retracement back down to around 30 to 31,000 is quite possible. But again, guys, you know, having a look at this level, once we do break above this fair value, we tend to kind of sometimes, you know, maybe dance a little sideways on it. But you can see
if we go back down to 25K, I'm going to be real. You guys have like one last opportunity if it goes back down that low to get in at a decent price.
Right here, this is still putting us, you know, sometime you know, just this is a hypothetical, you know, let's say November 8th of 2025, you know, you could be looking at a low of $94,000 to a high of $180,000. So again, I don't know if I'd let all this FUD get into my head. Even if we did have that 30% correction, you're still talking Bitcoin being above $30,000. So it's all about perspective. You know, you just gotta kind of just weigh it out, guys. And again, I know this video was a little bit long. I didn't have a chance to update you guys with my other videos, but I just wanted to say that we have seen this before. We have seen the FUD. I've been in this space for a long time. It can be hard when you're seeing people talk about this. You're having people come in and tell you, hey, you know, you should worry about what these guys are saying. Well, you know, again, had I listened to all these people that had been telling me people, like, I mean, not trying to, I don't want to like, but like my family didn't talk to me for like a year and a half. I mean, it was crazy. Like I had friends laughing at me, calling me stupid, especially after the 2018 crash down. And what happened? We went from 20 down to 3, all the way up to 70. So again, guys, I just wanted to make this video just to, you know, kind of just let you guys know, you know, I mean, if you know, if you want to sell, that's fine. Always take profits, you know, but again, what are you taking profits into? If you're taking profits in dollars and you're sitting in dollars, unless you're looking to maybe buy back cheaper, what are you really going to do with it? Buy some.
Again, like I said, you always got to have a goal. Always got to have a goal, right? If you're going to take profits, huge shout out to Crypto Zombie, by the way, this video is fantastic. But if you're going to take profits, again, typically you want to have some sort of goal. Like real estate, you can never really go wrong with real estate. So my goal is to get out of Bitcoin into paying off my house. That way I could sit on that, and you know what, I could pass my house down to my kids. They're probably never going to be able to buy a house at the rate the market's going, you know, today anyways, with just everything's insane. Interest rates, prices, it's just crazy. But yeah, I don't know, it's nuts. Shout out to Crypto Zombie for that though. If you guys are interested in his video, I do have a full link in the description below. You guys should go subscribe to him. Hit that like button, guys. Appreciate you. All right, recap. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Let's kind of wrap things up in the next 5 minutes. If if BTC does go down to 25K, I will be doing Uber Eats with this Hivemapper. Oh, you're talking about me? I'll be doing Uber Eats with my Hivemapper? Yeah, for sure, and I will absolutely purchase another Bitcoin if Bitcoin gets down to 25, for sure. But definitely have an end goal. That would be like my biggest push. Always have an end goal, and real estate, you can't go wrong with it. So I mean, it's kind of going into USD, right? But it's not at the same time. It's going into an asset which you can live with forever, right? It's a good goal. All right, let's see. That's exactly what I told. Let me see. Mr. Crypto Shape said, where was it? You said that was going to be your long of the year, right? If it goes down. I don't even know what the hell you said it, but I read it. Oh, right, yeah. 25 to 30K is my long trade of the year if it hits. Yeah, I mean, that would be a perfect long, right? But you know what? It's kind of like you go back to the fear and greed index, and everybody looks at it, and it's like you get nervous when, you know, you see, I don't know, like when things go down, right? If it goes down to 25K, you're going to see it down here. You're going to see this thing like over here, this needle be pinging right here. And for whatever reason, people they just, you know, you get scared and you won't do it most of the time. Like right now, right, being greedy, right? Again, it's not as greedy as we've seen. Like when it's up here, like, man, take some profits. But at the same time, going into the bull market, that shit's pinged like over 90 easy, you know, in the bull run. After the halving, when things actually appreciate, it gets nuts, right? But that's the time to start watching this shit and to, you know, consider selling some out. Just be smart. You got to be smart about it. But that's why Warren Buffett always says, be fearful when people are greedy and be greedy when people are fearful. So this chart is like the best way to like play this market, at least in my opinion. I don't know, you guys, you do what you want, but that's just me. All right, actually, you know what, let's check out Karlsen again, see what it's at. KLS before we get out of here, because I am mining directly to Kaspa through this Karlsen hash. Still 11 cents. ETC POW again. Hopefully I get my payout today. It's at $1.96. I need to get this thing pumping. Let's see what else we got. What other coins you guys want to look at? Oh, let's look at honey. Actually, honey. Hivemapper should be getting a decent payout this week, hopefully. Holy hell, what is going on here? Perfect. That's great. 21.3. Holy hell, dude, honey is on a tear. Wow. Anybody that has a Hivemapper, shout out to you guys. If you guys are interested, I do have a link in the description. Get like 10% off or something. But it's like a dash cam. I think they're like $300 now. What is it? Hivemapper. Is it hivemapper.com? I don't even know. Who it is? Buy a dash cam. Let's see. How much is it now? I think it's the same thing. 300 bucks. We looked the other day. Yeah, still 300 bucks. This thing's worth 500. But dude, friggin' Matt Electron, if you guys don't know, if you guys didn't see his video, he has 2 of these. He's a truck driver. He drives trucks for a living. He has 2 of these, one in his windshield and one in his side window. He got paid $1,000 in a week. $500 a pop. Like, that thing paid for itself in a week. That is, it's unreal. Unfrickin' real how fast this thing went up. And the whole goal behind this, if you guys don't know the whole Hivemapper thing, it's like a more or less, again, it's kind of resembles Google Maps, right? Where instead of having to invest like $500,000 into one of those Google cars that got like the thing on the top spinning and all these cameras, right? And then you see them drive down the street randomly. Now they're using you as, like, you know, everyday drivers, just using this thing, and it goes to like a cloud. You upload it through your phone, and they just sell the geographical like BS that you guys capture to big companies to see if they're like the areas around you are good for them, I guess. I don't know, they pay for it. It's beyond my my capability of understanding most of it, but I that's what I grasp anyways, right? But it's crazy, man. I got paid $550 last week, says Carl Coat. Jeez, good for you, man. Holy hell, that's crazy. These things are nuts, dude. Nuts. I still don't understand why you would purchase this one over this one. I mean, yeah, it looks cool, but I ain't gonna spend $700 when this one does the same thing. I don't give a shit how ugly it is. I don't care at all. Like, this one says 30 frames per second. This one says 10 frames per second. Okay, but if it's not 3 times the yield, I don't give a shit. I'm just being real. I'm just being honest. Oh, this one's also a dash cam. That's right. That's right. Okay, I lied. This one. So this one's like, all right. So it's a bit different. It's a bit different. So you get a dash cam and the imagery thing. This one's only the imagery. I got it. That's what the video thing means. Okay. Thank you, John English. Makes sense. This one is way nicer. It looks way cooler, but again, I'm gonna get paid this. I don't know. Do you need a dash cam? If you got a Tesla, you don't need it, right? I don't know. We'll see. It's a Sony camera. Oh, really? Nice. Same rewards. Yeah, Carl Code. That's what I thought. Same rewards. I don't know. That's just me. I mean, it's cool, but like double the money cool? I don't know. I don't know. How bad do you need a dash cam, I guess, right? That's what it comes down to. All right, guys. You guys are all fantastic. I love you all. I gotta get out of here, unfortunately. I gotta get back to daddy duty. Not unfortunate on that part. Just getting out of here is unfortunate. But anyways, hopefully you guys have a great, fantastic Monday. I appreciate you all. Guys, hit that like button on the way out. Hopefully, if you haven't already subscribed, please consider it. And I'll catch you guys bright and early tomorrow morning, 8:15 or so Eastern Standard Time. Have a good one, and peace out. Catch you guys soon.
This hash rate's going bonkers.